Culture Roiv so go Cairn na Bhnuarach and so a Griel Orga to Corcertina. Very welcome here to Cairn na Bhnuarach, an ancient stone fort along the Dingle Peninsula, where I'll start my journey to learn more about the old instrument, the Jew's harp or the Jaws harp. An Trúmpa, as it's known in Irish, is one of many names for the Jew's harp. In fact, I think there's over 1,000 names for this instrument, and it's one of the world's oldest instruments, and it's been played in every country and adopted into every culture throughout the world. I've been playing the concertina for nearly 20 years, and for the past 10 years I've dedicated some time to learning about the history and mechanics of the instrument from my mentor Stephen Chambers. I was surprised and admittedly disappointed to learn that the concertina was less than 200 years old. The concertina, along with other members of the reed instrument family, is a relatively young instrument in comparison to the fiddle, uilleann pipes and the flute. I learned from opening up the concertina that it is more similar to the accordion, piano accordion, harmonium and baldonian than I would have liked. If you remove the 6 screws from the end of the concertina and remove the end plate, you will notice that there are many layers to the concertina. In the first layer you can see the action board with buttons, levers and pads. In the next layer of the instrument you will find the reed pan, and this holds the reeds in place. The next layer are the bellows of the instrument, and these act as lungs and are necessary for the reeds to sound. The air from the bellows passes through the reeds and causes the reed tongue, as it's known, to vibrate very quickly, and this creates a sustained frequency and sound. The sheng was invented in China over 3,000 years ago. It's based on the same principle of vibrating reeds within a concertina. The reeds of the sheng were activated by breath from the lungs, similar to the mouth organ or harmonica, and they vibrated within bamboo pipes. A French missionary introduced the sheng to instrument makers in Europe in the 18th century, and resulted in a boom in the invention of new instruments, including the harmonica, the accordion, concertina, and harmonium. But what instrument preceded the sheng? The ancestor of all these instruments is An Trúmpa, or the Jew's harp as it's known in English. Join me on this journey to learn more about the ancient fossil, the Jew's harp. We will learn from makers, we'll hear examples of Jew's harp playing from around the world, its functions and its role in world music. The journey starts in Southeast Asia. Archaeological sites throughout Asia where Jew's harps were found predate any across Europe, confirming that Jew's harps originated in Asia. The earliest known Jew's harp finds were from archaeological sites excavated in Shimao, China, an imperial city with trading routes in all directions including Mongolia and Cambodia. These sites date back between 4,300 to 1800 BCE. More than 20 Jew's harps were found, and they were made from bones. This map shows many of the archaeological sites where Jew's harps are found across Asia. Later finds in archaeological sites uncovered Jew's harps that were made from bamboo and from wood. And since the Iron Age, metal Jew's harps eventually replaced these, and the sound of the instrument hasn't changed much since. The Jew's harp has been described as the oldest modern sounding instrument in the world.
quay rồi hãy nhom trâu chát mà non hà đi trong chát rồi giờ sẵn át rồi giờ cợt thì tu cuối rồi rồi em riệp chom từ tu tới giờ snow ăn cuối chát hỡi nhom nòng đom quay pột đi à vừa pột tuนี่เองอยู่คลังยังจับเดิมฟื้ชาร์จอันลาดอังกูนี่ก็ได้ยำฟื้กูนี่ให้เจีย50 năm เพียงเนาะเป็นมือยำฟื้ตั้งแต่อายุ10 mùi đọc 5 sa mô hốt đó nhầm chất sắp vào bay được rồi lên tôi là phần này nhom đây bìa tôi lên tôi là khơi vô dừng dây tôi là lư nó nó này là phần này nhom mình mình cái bìa khán mà dập rừng mình tươn anh mình tôm
nhóm chạy lên bìa bụng nhóm anh ấy cất prap anh ấy dương khi sầm rạp chơi chlong bị dây chơi chlong ní hay đừng hào rồi môi gặp mọi cha đăng khi đôi thằng dương nhai kia rồi dương sờ lạnh kia tới khi gạt đôi cha đắng khi dây bị ăn cuội khi dây sầm lên đừng ăn cuội dương cất tới lư sầm lên đó cơ kể ai một chuột dương cho
Before you try and woo someone with your juice harp playing, you must first have an understanding of the physics behind the instrument. When a reed vibrates, it creates a sound and a fundamental note. When this note sounds, it creates overtones above the frequency of the fundamental note. When you adjust the shape inside your mouth by making the space bigger or smaller, you can amplify different overtones to create different notes on that scale, just like you would do when you whistle. If you don't have a juice harp at home, why not try and play your face mask? Or if your face mask is too difficult, why not try your credit card?
Put the credit card against the mouth and then you pluck here like the juice on.
Now that you understand the principle of how the juice harp works, and if you enjoy that, the next step is to use your credit card to order your very own juice harp. As you will see, it isn't that difficult to create a sound, but like all instruments, it takes great skill to master. We'll travel west now from Asia to learn more about the history of the juice harp in Europe. This map shows juice harp finds in archaeological sites all around Europe. Archaeological finds confirm that the juice harp arrived in Europe fully developed around the 12th century and spread throughout Europe before being exported from there to the Americas and Africa. This shows the variety of designs, sizes and shapes from these European juice harp finds. The first references to the names trump, juice harp and Jews trump appeared in the 1450s, and references to the juice harp increased over time. While the juice harp's popularity spread throughout the world, nobody knows for certain why it's called the juice harp. But some people speculate that the travelling vendors or peddlers, who were often Jewish, brought these objects from place to place to sell. There are numerous artistic paintings of monkeys ransacking peddlers while they sleep, and the contents of their sacks are visible for all to be seen. During this period, we start to see the Jew's harp appearing more frequently in art, drawings and paintings, and in European music. In many parts of the world, makers are highly esteemed, such as in Norway, Hungary and Estonia, where the playing of An Trúmpa is still vibrant and highly regarded makers still exist. In Estonia in recent years, there has been a revival of the Jew's harp. One of the best players in Estonian Jew's harp tradition was born in 1871. Here is the first recording of an Estonian traditional Jew's harp player, recorded on camera in 1938.
Armupil polka.
One of the best players of the Jew's harp I've come across is Kathleen Maggi, a lecturer of traditional music in the University of Viljandi in Estonia. Here's the clip of Kathleen here demonstrating some of the potentials of the Jew's harp, before playing a polka that has similarities to music heard in West Kerry. Welcome back to West Kerry. Now, the Jew's harp has been played in Ireland for centuries, and the first time I heard the Jew's harp was a good few years ago growing up on Radio na Gaeltachta. The wonderful Martin O'Flaherty played it, and is a theme tune for Radio na Gaeltachta for a number of years. So please join me on this journey to learn more about the Jew's harp here in Ireland. I was sent a recording of Seosamh O'Dádig from Dúnchain. Here, Seosamh describes the Jew's harp as being the most commonly played instrument in West Kerry when he grew up.
It's toch and ben oorlish, but lor shivi iawn, na a visog, na an Trúmpa bél. Agus ní chosiminéach an ishe ach a radio na Gaeltachta.
I visited the Traditional Irish Music Archives website and I came across Michael Wright's book. It's a landmark book on the Jew's harp, and it's entitled The Jews Harp in Britain and Ireland. You can see on this archaeological map the findings of Jews harps in Ireland and in England. The earliest find is estimated between the 13th and 14th century, and the majority of finds were in the 17th and 18th century. The census of 1864 shows that there were 9 makers of the Jews harp in Ireland. Some of the makers can be seen here. Here are some images of the stamps used by the Sharkey Jews harp makers. One of the reasons the Jews harp was so popular in Ireland was because Ireland was a poor nation and people could not afford expensive instruments. A book written in 1837 entitled Ireland Picturesque and Romantic, the author describes the Jews harp as being the only instrument of the Irish peasant, and that it exemplifies in a striking manner the degradation of his country. References to the Jews harp are found across culture in proverbs and saying, folklore, plays and literature, poems and rhymes, crossword puzzles and games. A little verse from County Galway, documented in 1936, indicates the importance of the instrument based on the belief that it was an instrument that the saints played during their time on earth. An Trúmpa na naomh is a úrlis naofa, naomh gach teach in the sheinter the heol. O trump of the saints, and blessed instrument, bless each house where your music is played. They used to say that the Virgin Mary listened to no other music but the music of the Jews harp.
Tá fannig sennach go lang an dat nar is siad na view feice der se ní view trúmpa gan tanga.
The reasons for the decline of the Jews harp are multifaceted. Firstly, it is a difficult instrument to play at a high standard. Louder instruments with ready-made notes such as the accordion, harmonica and concertina were more sought after for dancers and caddies. As other instruments became more popular, there were less demand for the Jews harp, and less higher quality instrument makers survived. As Paddy Malone described his grandfather Tomás O'Crane saying one evening when he'd returned from Dingle with his Jews harp, that they don't make Jews harps like they used to. One of the most memorable clips that I came across in the archive of Jews harp playing was of John Campbell. This clip speaks for itself.
And he showed us how to play the Jaws harp. They used to be called Jews harps, but they're not allowed to say that now. You get 6 months in jail for saying that. You only need 2 fingers and 1 thumb on that hand to hold it. And you only need 1 tooth. Put it up against the tooth. And you only need 1 finger on the other hand. This is not a concertina. Put it against your teeth like that, and you keep your teeth open enough to allow this part here, which is called the tongue, to go back into your mouth, just like that. When that happens, you have 2 tongues in your mouth at the one time. This tongue here and your own tongue. Now you have to keep your own tongue well away from this tongue, or you could end up with no tongue. Then from your top lip to the bridge of your nose, you make a sound like
John Wright is one of the best musicians of the Jews harp I have heard. He displays a fantastic example of the possibilities of this instrument.
Down at the Willie Clancy School, I invested in a box of jaw harps, and all the harmonica students, I assigned each one, you know, not voluntary, you know, and because it's a great instrument, it needs a leg up, and I think it's one of the best instruments to accompany another instrument.